for Commonwealth University Lock Haven. It's been a really nice day outside, so I appreciate you taking the time to spend part of your evening with us. To briefly introduce myself, my name is Lindsay Mays. I'm the Interim Associate Director for Graduate Admissions and Enrollment Communications. I have worked in the Lock Haven Admissions Office for 3 years now. Just a few housekeeping items. Please feel free to drop questions in the chat or the Q&A as we go through the presentation. I will be monitoring the chat, and we will go over those questions at the conclusion of the presentation. Tonight I am joined by Dr. David Curtin, Honors College Director at Lock Haven, as well as some current students who are in the program as well. I will allow him to introduce himself and get started with his presentation. So David, if you're ready, you can kick it off.
I am ready. I'm David Curtin, and I'm just now finishing my 20th year as a professor, a music professor, piano, as you may have guessed, and music theory, music history, that kind of stuff. And I'm also wrapping up my 3-year term as Director of Honors at Lock Haven. So you will actually, if you decide to join Honors, which we certainly hope that you will have a different director. But the program will not change. We've just set up a new program, and we hope you'll like it. And very pleased to have you here joining us. And I guess we can. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves, Jenny and Ari, my faithful student associate directors, with whom I could not cope without?
Sure.
You can go first, Ari.
Okay. My name is Ari Newland. I'm currently a senior. I'm in the Honors College, and I'm in the 3+2 athletic training program here at Lock Haven. So similar to Dr. Curtin, I will not be here whenever you guys get around. I will be in graduate school, but no longer in the Honors College. However, I have an awesome student that's going to be taking my job. I'm currently the Student Associate Director of Admissions for the program.
I'm Jenny Boyle. I'm also a Student Associate Director. Mine is for Program Development and Leadership. So any events, honors events that we're running, just for Lock Haven, I will be in charge of those. I'm currently a junior. My major is biochemistry. Unlike Dr. Curtin and Ari, I will be here next year. So I'll be your go-to gal for any questions.
Okay, so I guess we can start the slides. There's just a few of them, just giving you a little bit of information about the program itself. And the Honors College is a select, we are quite select, group of talented, wonderful students. And this is really true. I've seen their work over the past 3 years, and also the incoming group, the tremendous credentials and the essays that people have written, and I'm really proud of the students that we get. We challenge you with daily opportunities, especially if you're in one of the honors seminars, which we'll talk about later, which we try to make sort of challenging and engaging. We give you as much one-on-one support as you require, the attention that you'd expect at a prestigious college, while providing all the benefits, activities, and affordability of a state university. It's sort of it's an elite program within a university that is affordable and attractive, I think, for a wide variety of students at different levels. But honors is really, we are the cream of the crop, I am proud to say. So I think we can go to the next slide. So here's what we require. There are 10, we are required over the course of your, however long you're here, 4 years, sometimes for some students it's 5 years. For example, if you're in the 3+2 pre-PA program. But over the course of your college career, you must take a minimum of 10 credits of honors college courses. And the nice thing is that 9 of those credits, so basically 3 courses, because a typical semester course that meets 3 hours a week is a 3 credit hour course. And so you would take 3 such courses with the prefix HONR. That's an honors seminar. And these honors seminars, we designed the program so that these seminars also count as gen eds. And as you're probably aware, you have a gen ed requirement, and then you have the requirement for your major. Everybody has to fulfill these gen eds no matter what your major is. But the nice thing about taking the honors seminars is they also count as gen ed. So in a sense, it doesn't really add much of a burden to your schedule. Now, these classes are maybe going to be more demanding, as we would expect of honor students, but they do count as gen ed. So as you're selecting these classes, if you do decide to join the program again, you'll want to work with your advisor and make sure that the honors program, the honors seminar that you select is also fulfilling a gen ed that you need. So as you're selecting your gen eds, you'll also want to take into consideration, okay, what honors seminars are available where I could take the honors seminar and get credit towards the honors program and also fulfill that gen ed requirement. Now, that's 9 hours. So how do we get to 10? It's 10 minimum. Well, the other the remaining hours, and it can be between 1 and 3 hours, is the honors 400 level course. It's HONR 410. And this is a course that basically is an independent study that you take with a professor in your senior year. And this is what we call our capstone, the senior capstone project, which is the last bullet point. So this capstone is variable in credit. It's going to be between 1 and 3 credits, depending on, for example, if you are doing work in a course and you say, hey, you know what, I think I want to use whatever the subject is, whatever I'm doing in this course, I want to sort of spin it out into a capstone. You can sort of let a lot of that work that you're already doing in that course kind of do double duty towards your capstone project. And you would just, ask the professor, say, hey, I need to do an honors capstone. Would you be willing to do an independent study with me, the honors 410 course? And if, for example, the work that you do for the capstone substantially overlaps with the work that you're already doing in a course, then you would take it for 1 credit, right? And that way you'd meet the minimum of 10 credits. If you are doing something that has a lot of, basically is not based largely on some work that you're already doing, so it's something new, it's something original, not tied to a course that you're already taking, then you might take that for 2 credits or 3 credits. So it's a variable amount, but the 9 hours is from honors seminars, and then the other between 1 and 3 hours comes in your senior year with the capstone project. And by the way, those honors seminars can be taken anytime throughout your time here. We kind of recommend that you get them taken care of early, because again, they're going to count as gen ed. So as you see these courses come available, as you're searching for courses, look for the honors courses first, see if they fit in your schedule, and if they do, go ahead and take them before they fill up, because this is the other thing, they are limited. We're trying to keep them as true seminars. And so these honor seminars are limited to an enrollment of 20 students each seminar. And we will typically have maybe 2 or 3 of them offered each semester. I think in the fall semester, we have 3 of them being offered. So there will be enough seats, but you'll want to definitely look into that and get them taken care of earlier on, because again, they count as gen ed credit, and you don't want to be like taking gen eds later on when you could have taken an honors course that would have fulfilled that same requirement. So in addition to that's the academic requirement, we require 16 hours of volunteer service hours per academic year. And the nice thing about this is, first of all, there are plenty of opportunities sort of in-house within the honors program itself to do those volunteer service hours. So for example, we have organizations in the community that reach out to us and say, hey, we need some students if we have some people who need to do their volunteer service hours, could they come out on a certain day and help us with this or that project? There are things, for example, some of you might have gotten these postcards that we sent out. We sent out a bunch of postcards to prospective honors students who are applying to Lock Haven, telling them about the program. And we had students fill those cards out, and that took some time and some effort on that part. So they got volunteer service hours. They're serving the honors program itself. So you've got opportunities here on campus or even just within the honors program itself to fulfill those. But you can also fulfill those while you're at home. Like, let's say you go home over Christmas break or over summer break, over spring break, and there are service opportunities in your own community. You can very well do stuff there. So it doesn't have to be during the school year. As you can see, it says August to August. That's when we start counting. Start counting in August, and as long as you've filled up those 16 hours by the end of the following August, or I guess by the beginning of the following August, then we count them. And then we have attendance at a minimum of 2 events. We have various honors events. Some of them are sort of more on the social side. Some of them might be more on the academic side. We might have, for example, a guest lecturer come, do some kind of presentation. We have other kinds of activities that count as special events. And so we try and keep this not too burdensome, because we know how busy a lot of our students are. So it's just 2 of these events per semester. And then there are these 2 high impact experiences. Now, one of those high impact experiences is also the senior capstone project. That counts as one of them. And that is, again, typically done in your senior year. We have one other high impact experience, which I'll talk about. What do we mean by that high impact experience? The other one we call the minor HIE. So there's the minor HIE, which you probably would do maybe in your sophomore year, your junior year. And then there's the major HIE, which is the capstone, right? So what is a high impact experience? Well, we kind of define it broadly. We want to leave some sort of wiggle room in there, because there might be some things that students propose to us that we hadn't thought of ourselves. Like, yeah, that could be a high impact experience. So for example, study abroad. And we have a number of students actually right now. I just recently had a Zoom conversation with one of our honor students who's over in England. Another one is going to Scotland in the fall, I believe. And Ari, you went to the Bahamas or
Jamaica.
Jamaica. I was close. I was in
Back
the
from
general
London.
area. So there are lots of opportunities for travel abroad experiences, study abroad, and it doesn't have to be for an entire semester either. Things like faculty supervised research, meaningful leadership experience. So, for example, if you decide to take a leadership position within the honors program, as Ari and Jenny have done, or let's say that you are active in some other association on campus, some club on campus that you're in a leadership role. These kind of things count as high impact experiences. Professional internships, again, these are high impact experiences. And all you have to do really is just write kind of a reasonably brief paper describing what you did, how it affected you, what you learned from the experience, right? And again, that will probably be done maybe in your sophomore or junior year. And then in your senior year, you enroll in the Honors 410 independent study and work with your professor for a semester working on your senior capstone project. This is usually some kind of basically kind of like a research paper. Doesn't necessarily have to be, but that's what most honor students do. Or if they do something else that's sort of like some kind of a project that's not necessarily writing intensive, you would still produce a document or some kind of an artifact that explains about the experience and goes over it in detail. And then you make a presentation. So for example, tomorrow, actually, we have our presentation night present your research event going on tomorrow, and everyone who's done a capstone or other kind of research project will all gather in an auditorium, and people will present PowerPoint slideshows about their project. So I think I covered that one pretty well. Oh yeah, and then our qualifications. So we have basically, and there's our lovely Ari right there, leaning on the sign for the Honors House. If we could turn the camera around a little bit, you could see the Honors House, which is our own sort of private hangout clubhouse sort of on campus. We'll talk about that a little bit later, I guess. So the qualifications are, we have sort of two tiers. If your GPA, your high school GPA is 95 or above, or for if you're transferring, I don't know if we have any transfers here. We do accept transfers. But if your GPA is 95 or above, you are automatically qualified to enter honors. And in fact, by this point, if that's true for you, you probably should have gotten an invitation to join, and maybe a link to a portal where you would maybe read some information, decide whether it was right for you, and click to join. So that's if you have a GPA of 95 or above. You are automatically qualified for the program, and it's just a matter of accepting the invitation to join. If your GPA is between 90 and 94.9, it's still very simple. You would fill out, again, in this case, hopefully you will have received an invitation to apply. And then we would take a look at your transcript and maybe exam scores if you have them. And there's a brief essay. I think the prompt is we ask for something like 500 words. It's not very long. And we have a couple of different subjects that we ask about. Like, I think this year, the essay topics were describe a work of art or literature or a film or something like this that influenced you and why. And I think another topic was describe what it means to be a global citizen. What does that mean to you? And so you write a brief essay. You submit these materials, and I think we've had some letters of recommendation as well. I don't think those are necessarily required, but they certainly help. You submit those, and then I look them over, and if everything checks out, then you're admitted. So either way, it's not a very taxing process if you're interested in applying to honors, or accepting your invitation to honors if it's already been extended to you. And I guess that's it for that one. Questions? And here's where I guess we go to the chat and see if any of you all have questions for us. And I think probably a lot of the questions maybe will be addressed by Jenny and Ari, because they are really, they have experienced this from the student point of view. My role has mostly been sort of more on the academic side. And obviously, since I haven't been a student myself for 30 something years now, but as to the experience of what it's really like to be an honors student, Jenny and Ari are the experts, but I'm happy to answer any questions as well.
So if you folks have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat, or there's a Q&A option as well, and we'll make sure to address all of them.
I see we have a question here of how have athletes succeed in the Honors College? I'm glad you asked. We actually had an athlete, a great honors student who, and graduating senior, who was supposed to be in on this chat, but at the last minute he realized he had a conflict with an award ceremony where he had to present an award to one of his fellow students athletes, and he sent his regrets. But he was going to be here to address that question. But I can tell you, we've had lots of student athletes be very successful, both in their athletics and in honors. And this particular student, I believe, was in track. And in fact, I think he's going on to, I'm not sure now that if he's doing, I think he's doing education, but with some kind of an athletic emphasis. But, because, they're like sport management, is a big major at Lock Haven. And we certainly have a lot of student athletes, and the program is designed to make it flexible so that we don't have too many hours, because we realize, that our student athletes have to train, have to show up to practices. And so we keep that very much in mind, and the program is designed for student athletes to succeed. And I think we've done well with that. Maybe Ari and Jenny, I don't know if you know personally some other student athletes that you can talk about.
Yeah. I also just think we have a wide variety of student athletes, so it's not like it's all track and field athletes or all soccer athletes. We have track and field athletes, we have men and women's soccer, men and women's wrestling, basketball. We like almost every sport I think has at least one or two students in the honors college. So it's manageable for all teams, not just one specific team as well.
Yeah, and I always try to make my events all different days, all different hours whenever I host them. So like if you have a game like, I don't know, Thursday night, I don't know when games are, I'm not in sports. But if you have a game like one night, like there are plenty of other opportunities. We have office hours in the honors house. We always have the email. If you have any concerns about like meeting a requirement or a GPA question, we can give you resources to tutoring, things like that. We'll work with you. It's not like we're super strict.
Yeah, both our director and our student associate directors are here to help you succeed no matter what.
So we have a student, a question. Are there study hours like sports have? I'm not sure I quite understand the question, but maybe you could, in the chat, if I'm not addressing it. There's certainly, you will have time in your schedule. We've designed the program to be not too time intensive. So for example, that's why we made it so that the honor seminars also count as gen eds. We didn't want to overburden with additional things. We want to have this sort of a more intense experience and a heightened experience for our elite students, but not necessarily a sort of a more taxing experience in terms of your time. I'll also tell you that I mentioned briefly about the honors house. So the honors house, it's a house. It was formerly a private house that the university acquired at some point, and it is on campus. And we have our own study hall within. We have a computer lab. We have just kind of a hangout space. We have quiet spaces where you can study, and it's sort of like our own little retreat away from campus. And we definitely have an ethos of mentorship within the program. So we have students who have been through the program. We form like close associations with the freshmen coming in, and we are able to guide you in terms of resources like to help with tutoring or other kinds of academic assistance. I don't know if I'm addressing your question, but if you want to follow up a little later on, I'm going to move to the next question because I know that Jenny can answer this one. It says, can marching band or concert band students still study abroad?
Yes. I didn't do technically like a full semester, but I recently over winter break with technically the Commonwealth band, it was Lock Haven was invited, Bloomsburg was invited, and Mansfield was invited. It was mostly Mansfield because they're very music-y, but we all went to London. We performed in the New Year's parade over there. It was filmed if you want to watch it. But yes, you can still study abroad. I know that we have a scholarship, and I think that might be why you're asking about that, because the scholarship requires you to be in the marching band and in the concert band. I'm pretty sure we can either make an exception if you're studying abroad, because obviously you won't be able to make rehearsals. So I can always ask Dr. Grass about that. I have a meeting with him on Monday, but I'm pretty sure, yes, you can still study abroad, whether it's for a semester or just over break. It still counts, even if it's for over spring break, winter break, summer break.
And Jenny, are you like president of the band?
I was, now I'm vice president.
I see. Yeah. So she's our expert on that.
If you have any other band questions.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, and this, I'm sure probably Ari could answer, or someone could answer. If I'm in the 3+2 physician assistant program, will my capstone project be during the 3rd year? Actually,
Yeah.
probably be more likely the 4th year. Is that true? Or
No,
no?
it would be the
Oh,
third.
that's right.
So
Right.
yeah, I'm currently in the 3+2 athletic training program. So this is technically my senior year, but it's only my 3rd year. So yes, you would do your capstone during the 3rd year of the program.
Yeah, because
And I would,
technically,
sorry, go ahead.
no, me and Ari like came in together, but I'm a junior and she's a senior technically because she only has to be undergrad for 3 years before moving on to the 2 years of grad.
Mhm.
I'll add also that many of our honor students, I don't, you guys maybe know the percentage better than me, but a substantial percentage of our honor students are 3+2, because as you know, if you
All of
apply to
them.
this program, it's maybe our most rigorous, and it's sort of like the cream of our crop students. So so the program is definitely geared so that those students in particular are able to complete everything. And if you're in this program, I'm sure there will be classes that you're in where you can use what you're already doing in the class as the basis for your capstone, and so it won't really be that much extra work, I think, compared to what is already, I'm sure, a very rigorous and demanding program. So we take that into account.
Mhm.
Let's see
The
here.
next one I kind of answered in the chat for the
Oh
chat
yeah.
one. We don't require study hours, but obviously if you need help, we're here. And then I think the other questions are GPA related.
Okay. I see. Thank you, Ash, for answering that one. Oh, for athletics, we have to complete a certain number of hours of study time per week.
No.
That might be there's study hours with the honor. No, we don't have required study hours with honors. I can't speak to athletics. Probably you'd want to ask one of your coaches, whichever program you're in. But we don't have anything like we keeping track of how many hours you study. That's we figure you're probably pretty studious if you even qualified for this program. Yep, and there you go. Thank you, James. I'm behind the curve here. No required study hours for honors. That is correct.
All good.
And yes, student teaching. So here's a question. As an education major, does student teaching count as a high impact experience? It certainly does. Yep, and that would probably be, it would sort of be whatever the word is, with your capstone. And you might have to you might do right, and it's some additional, we want to have some kind of like basically a personal reflection, or a paper about your experience, but the student teaching itself will be the experience. So it's not like we're going to ask you to do that. Again, we realize how much work it is, the demands to do your student teaching, and so that very much does count as the basis of your high impact experience. Do we have some more here?
Yeah. There's other ones instead of in the chat, they're in the Q&A.
Okay.
There is GPA requirement. I believe it with the new program now, is it at 2.5 instead of 3.0?
Okay. What GPA is required to continue in the honors program? I think now this would be in our new handbook that we created recently, and I don't have that off the top of my head, but I think you have to maintain above a 3.0. Maybe Ari.
I believe it's also a 3.0. I
Yes.
don't know if it has changed since that new
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew it was a 3.0, but for some reason I feel like we brought it down, but it could
Okay.
still be a 3.0.
Yeah. I think it's probably safe to assume it's a 3.0. Now, what happens is if you dip below a 3.0 in semester, it's not like you immediately, get booted. We notify you, like, hey, you'll want to bring this back up so that you're back up above a 3.0 by the next semester. So we give you, we notify you, give you plenty of notice. How would a GPA of 95 translate on a 4.0 scale? I think it's something like
I can answer that one.
Oh,
It's a
yeah, okay.
3.8. 3.8 or better.
3.8. Okay, thank you very much. Would it be too much to participate in the TRIO SSS program, honors program, and be a student athlete? Well, I can answer the last two, certainly not honors and student athlete, because we have lots of people doing that very successfully. I am not familiar with the TRIO SSS program, and Ari is answering this one for us.
Yeah, we do have students that are in all of those programs, trio, honors, and student athlete. This year specifically, like this past summer, we had a lot of students actually in both trio and the honors program. Um, I think that both trio and the honors program are very accommodating, to making sure that you can do both things, which is super nice. And then we kind of went with student athlete before, talking about how those things kind of work together as well. So yes, it is possible to do all three of those things. And in fact, I think this gives you an amazing basis of support behind you, in college.
Ari, can you tell us what is TRIO SS in case other people
Yeah, so the trio program is a program for first generational students or students who meet a certain income basis. So if you qualify for this program, you'll receive a email saying that you qualify for it and that you could join it. It's basically a program just to make sure that you are supported the entire way through college, that they do study hours and a whole bunch of things, just making sure that you have all the connections here at LHU and that you have every chance to succeed.
Yeah. Great. I didn't even know about that program before, so thank you. All right, let's see if there's any. I don't see any others in the chat. Let me talk a little bit, I guess, about housing. We do have we don't have, let's say, honors exclusive housing, but we do have one wing of, I believe is our newest dormitory, Fairview Suites, which is reserved for honor students if they choose to live there. So it's not like you have to live there, but it is, I think, our nicest dorm. So if you choose to live there as an honor student, you can live there. And I think it's the north wing of Fairview, which is a giant building. And also, let's say you're an honor student, but you have a certain person that you would like to be your roommate. Like, oh, but my roommate is not in honors. Can they still? But yes, you can have a roommate who is not in honors, even if you're in the honors section. So it's, we keep it kind of loose. We want to give people options. And maybe now I've never been in the dorm myself. I mean, I watched it being built actually, because it's right across from where my office is in Sloan, and used to be a parking lot down there, and now it's a giant, very nice dorm. And maybe Jenny or Ari can tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, I know Ari commutes. My freshman year, I lived in Fairview, I think also the North Wing. It's definitely the newest housing on campus or dormitory on campus. There's a little kitchen area, there's laundry. I think you can the way I did it, they just had all the rooms available and you just kind of chose one. So I thought it was very nice.
Yeah.
But
and the rec center is right down there. It's just right next door.
It's right like kind of in the middle of campus.
Yeah.
So if you have science classes down at East Campus, it's not that far. If you have classes down in the main campus, it's not that far. It's not too far from the honors house. It's right in the rec center. It's kind of
Bentley,
the middle.
Dining hall is kind of kitty corner across
Kind of right across the street.
Yep. Prime real estate.
Yes. Yeah. That's all I have to say about Fairview. It was good.
Okay.
And also, I know we don't have any other questions right now, but do they have access to emailing LHU people? I feel like most of you guys should have your Lock Haven emails, but you can always email the honors email with questions if you think of it after this seminar and you're like, oh darn, I should have asked that. We're always here. We'll always check the email, get all your questions answered.
I'll put the email in the chat.
Okay.
Oh, smart. Thank you, Ari.
You're welcome.
Do either of you want to share with the group what your favorite part has been about the honors program?
Sure. You want me to go, Jenny, or do you want to go
Yeah,
first?
you can go first. Break the ice.
Okay. For me, the community was a really big thing. As Jenny had mentioned, I am a commuter. However, I think this is just as important to people on campus. Of course, you are coming into a brand new place. You don't know very many people. It can be difficult, or I guess even more so scary to find resources to make sure that you are not only succeeding, but just doing the best that you can. So I think just having these resources from the very beginning was so important to me. I went to freshman orientation with the honors program, and I basically all my friends that I met there are my best friends today in college, still to this day. And then just all the people that I've met, I've had so many opportunities. My leadership position in the honors college has really like just transformed who I am as a person. If you would ask me in high school if I would ever be in this position right now, I would tell you no way, because I was super shy, and this position has really like helped me come out of my shell and do things that I didn't think I would be able to do before.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that part. And I think that's very fitting as you were the big admissions person. So you kind of were forced out of your shell to talk to all the freshmen. I kind of have similar points. Um, I definitely think that taking this job was a very good leadership opportunity for me. The honors events, basically, I not all of them, but most of them, I'll run. Me and Ari will come up with ideas, and then we'll get it all sorted. Um, I don't want to steal your stuff, but definitely the community aspect of it. There's a lot of health science majors, so not being a health science major did surprisingly make me like strangely unique because I'm a biochemistry major. So I could be like, ooh, my chemistry classes, and like I'm in biochem too, and they're like, wow. But yeah, I've made a lot of friends in honors. The honors house has been a very good resource to me. I go there all the time. It's unlocked from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. on weekdays. So anyone in the honors program has access. You can bring non-honors friends. There's like a lounge area upstairs. There's the conference room, study room. I've used that a lot for studying when I need to cram and I need like a nice quiet space. Um, that was me not stealing your community answer as much, but yeah.
I have another thing to add. Neither of us said this, however, I feel like pretty much like all the freshmen, when you ask them what their favorite thing is priority scheduling. Super
Mm,
convenient.
Thank you.
So you actually get to schedule your classes before everybody else on campus. So you will be a freshman scheduling before the seniors. So I have never worried about getting into a class my entire college career. I was always able to easily get into every single class that I wanted to get in,
that's
which
very
most
nice.
of our students really, really love.
That and moving in early, like two or I think it's like
Yep.
even like the Thursday before when
Mhm.
normally people move in on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Unless you have if you're rooming with an honors person, it's very nice to be there first because that's what happened to me. So I was there. Well, I was actually there like 2 weeks early for band, but it was a very nice opportunity to get all my stuff settled and kind of get both band and honors friend groups before classes had even started. So it wasn't like first day of classes, I don't know what's going on. I already had a lot of resources at my disposal.
One thing I'll mention too, I'm glad you're bringing these things up because I almost forgot to mention what we started doing. We started this last year for all of our freshman incoming classes. We have an honors retreat, and this is not just for Lock Haven honors students, but the other campuses as well, Mansfield and Bloomsburg. And we take a weekend and we go to Crystal Lake Camp, which is sort of up by Muncie or Montoursville area. It's beautiful. It's cabins, so you're not out in tents. I think we usually have it. Usually this is only the second year we've been doing it. We did it last year. It was a great time. Um, I think so. Look for it to be. We haven't finalized the schedule yet. We're in the planning stages now, but it'll probably be maybe like the second or third weekend after the semester starts. So we let you move in, kind of get settled, but then maybe that second or third weekend, we have this retreat, and it's basically you just hang out in the cabin. We have karaoke. I was kind of a karaoke star myself. There's of course the lake. There's canoes and boats. There's hiking in the woods. If the sky is clear, it's excellent stargazing. We have bonfires. We have great food there. It's just an awesome facility, and we completely take over the thing. They host only us for this weekend, and we provide transportation. There's no really expense on your part. I think we might ask for a refundable deposit, just so that when we get people to commit, that we know that you're really going to be there, because we have to we have to set things up with the camp and make sure that we know how many people are actually coming. So we might ask for a deposit, but then it's refundable so long as you actually show up. We provide transportation. You basically just need maybe a duffel bag. The bedding and all of that is supplied. I think maybe a sleeping bag to put on the but it's not like a major a big deal in terms of packing or whatever. And you get to know the honor students from the other campuses, and the other honors directors and dean of the honors college, all great people. And so we're really looking forward to that one in the fall. So be on the lookout for the honors retreat at Crystal Lake. Hope to see you there.
More details to come.
Yep.
Any other questions?
I'll throw in another one. I know you kind of answered this with the new requirements in the program being pretty manageable for students. But I know in talking to some incoming students and families, sometimes they're concerned about just workload and adjusting to college life. Is there an opportunity for a first-time student to join the program in their second semester? Is that something that you could talk about?
Yes, absolutely. So we've designed the program so that you can, so for example, we're very open to external transfers from other universities. Let's say someone that is, in fact, I just had a Zoom meeting with someone transferring in from PSU Du Bois last week. She was in the honors program there, decided to come to Lock Haven and wanted to be in the honors program here. So we're welcoming her in. And also internal transfers. So yeah, if you decide, like I'm not sure if I can't 100% commit in my freshman year. Let's see how things go. I mean, of course, we'd rather have you than not, but that is an option. It is something that you can start in your sophomore year. Probably not a good idea to push it much beyond that, because again, you do have to take these 3 seminars and the capstone in terms of just academic requirements. And depending on when these seminars are offered and what your schedule is like, it might be, so for example, if we're offering, as we are in this coming fall, if we're offering 3 seminars in a semester and they are capped at 20 students, then and let's say we have an incoming class of, let's say, as we have this semester, I think we have 50 or so already coming in. So if all of them, I mean, ideally, I mean, some of them might not be able to take these seminars, but if they all did, then that would be, for the fall, that would be not that many open spaces. So now we're inviting professors to create more seminars. We're trying to increase capacity. We have a big freshman class coming in this year, so we have to increase our capacity. So we were when we set up the seminars for the fall, we were kind of going on the numbers that we had now, but we have a big increase. But the point of saying all this is, if you were to start later, it is definitely possible to do theoretically, but in practice, it might be the case that, okay, now I'm starting my sophomore year, and I've got to fulfill these hours, and oh, here's a seminar I could take. Oh, but unfortunately it conflicts with a class in my major. And again, I'm not trying to scare you off. I'm just like, there are trade-offs to starting later. It's definitely possible to do, It's probably easier if you start in your freshman year, so that as those seminars are available and as your schedule might be a little bit more flexible, because for most majors, and this is probably not true for the 3+2 PA program or some of the others, but for most majors, it's understood that you're going to be taking maybe more gen eds in the first year or two, and then maybe towards the end of your sophomore year, your junior year, your senior year, more of the required courses for your major. So the earlier years are when you have a little bit more flexibility in your schedule, because if I need this gen ed, maybe I can't take that section of it, but I can take this other section. It becomes a little bit harder the farther on you go in your college career, when you have to take classes that are for your major that are maybe only offered once in a particular year, and you have a stricter sequence, like you have to take this course before you take this other one because there's a prerequisite, etc. So all of this is just by way of saying it is possible to transfer in. It is possible to decide, like, hey, I'm not sure about freshman year, but maybe sophomore year. The other thing that you'll want to keep in mind is that you'll want to keep your grades up. So, like right now, if you have, that GPA requirement that we talked about before, you're definitely in. So if you're thinking of having the option of retaining the option of starting in your sophomore year, you'll definitely want to keep your grades up so that you keep your eligibility to be in honors. But on the other hand, it's possible that you might start in the honors program, and maybe your freshman year, that those 2 semesters, maybe only one of those semesters you take an honors seminar. Maybe you do it both, maybe you only do one. Maybe your schedule, it just kind of works out that you don't have an opening that meets with, and you have to take them later on. You do have, you've got 8 semesters, assuming the typical 4-year college career, to work those seminars in. And so it is doable. The other thing is that this is a new program. Our older program, which we had up until, I guess, 2022, actually had a much higher requirement in terms of honors credits. So when we went through and revised the program, when we integrated and formed Commonwealth University and formed the honors college, we looked at the curriculum and said, how can we make this so that it's a little less burdensome in terms of credit hours and time? So that's when we reduced the credit hour load, and we also made it so the honor seminars would do double duty as gen eds. So in doing so, we made it, I think, easier for people to transfer in. So it's easier than it would have been in previous semesters. But I would say if you're kind of on the fence about it, I would probably err on the side of getting in now so that you can at least maybe take an honors seminar and see how you like it, rather than waiting. But, I would rather have someone wait than not be in honors at all. So if that's something that you feel more comfortable with, that's fine as well. I know I talked a lot there, but I hope I answered some of that. And we have a question here. What would happen if I struggle to meet the honors college requirements? Okay, well, I guess if it's the academic requirements, for example, the GPA, as I mentioned, there's sort of a probationary thing. If we see that your GPA has dipped below the 3.0 for a semester, we'll send you an email and say, hey, just to make you aware, you're going to need to bring this back up again. We'll give you a semester to bring it back up. In terms of the other requirements, the community service, so that's like 16 hours over a year, and we'll provide plenty about, we send out announcements, by the way. We send out a thing of Monday morning announcements, and very often included in that is like, hey, there's a service opportunity here and here. 16 hours over the course of an entire year. That's pretty doable. We have 2 special events per semester. Again, we'll let you know about those. They're going to be on campus, and they're not going to be they're usually very long. They're probably going to be an hour, maybe an hour and a half at most. might be some kind of a presentation, might be even something more of a social kind of community
Bingo.
bonding thing.
Bingo every semester.
Yeah, we do like bingo, you know, so
I think
we try and have a good balance of like work and fun.
I think
Um,
for the most part, if you're struggling with a requirement, like we'll either work with you, like if it's like an event, like you can't make it to an event,
Yeah.
we'll work with you and try to
yeah,
figure that out. Oh, like you can volunteer at the open house
yeah,
instead. We can count that as the honors event.
yes,
If it's GPA related, we can try to set you up with the tutoring center. If anyone, like I know me and Ari have taken plenty of classes, we could even try personally to help you. If it's community service, every Monday we will send out a community service uh attachment to the Monday morning announcements. So you will be getting that weekly. So you shouldn't have too much of an issue with it. And if you are, like, obviously we will help you as much as we can
Yeah.
through it.
Definitely.
Trying to think here. Actually, just randomly, since it's been so long since I was in either high school or college. Just this is not necessarily related to honors, but Ari and Jenny, did you find that you were since the people we're talking to, they haven't probably, I assume that we don't have any transfers. Mostly people have not been in college yet. Did you find that was college more demanding in terms of your time or high school? Because my own kids, I know they were just doing reams of homework in high school, and they were a lot busier than I was back in the early to mid 80s when I was in high school. So
I think
Um,
oh, sorry, you can go, Ari.
no, you're good, Jenny. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think it kind of depends. High school, I was definitely very busy, AP classes, tons of homework. I was in sports and band and everything. Um, College, I would say personally, I'm almost just as busy, if not more, but I'm enjoying the classes that I'm taking because I'm interested in them. And I'm kind of so busy because I let myself. You're kind of only as busy as you want. If you just want to focus on classes, you can do that. If you want to get involved on campus, you can do that. I'm just like president or vice president of like a bajillion clubs. So that it's kind of my own doing, but it all kind of depends on how involved you want to get. If you want to be super focused on school and honors and that's it, that's completely fine. If you want to join Chem Club, get a little shout out to Chem Club there. Um, it all depends, and you can definitely be a part of those clubs and not be in a leadership position. So I'm just kind of busy because I did it to myself. But you can go, Ari, if you'd like.
Yeah, I agree with Jenny. I'm very, very busy, but that's more because I did that to myself. I'm involved with a lot of things and I work almost full time on top of being a full-time student. So that's a lot. But that was kind of my own doing. I think the one thing, like from an admissions perspective, that we always tell students, the difference between high school and college is so much that in high school you're in class every single day from 8 to 3:30 or 4 o'clock. So your entire day is filled with just learning. But when you get to college, your classes are very spread out. You have a lot of free time that you didn't have in college that can be filled with different things, whether that is joining you have to use your time wisely. So this could be used by
Yeah.
joining clubs, doing your schoolwork, working. We have lots of on-campus jobs as well. So you have to learn how to utilize this time wisely. That's going to benefit you the most. If that is using that time just simply to study or do a couple other things, then that's what you should use it for. So you have a lot of free time and you just have to learn how to use that free time correctly.
Yeah,
that's great advice.
it's a
I
learning
was just
curve.
I'm just going to say that I would say, and this is general advice I give to my students, all of my students in my classes. I've been a college professor now for 28 years, I guess. And I found that the key, if you are struggling either to meet honors requirements or you're struggling in any way, the key is communication. So a lot of times, for example, in my classes, I've taught a lot of like sort of gen ed, intro to music classes, big, fairly big lecture classes for non-music majors. So just freshmen, they need a gen ed and it's intro to music, and they wind up with me. And unfortunately, sometimes they are struggling, but I don't know it because they don't reach out to me. And I emphasize to them, I say, hey, first of all, I have office hours. Second of all, you can send me an email anytime. And I think, my colleagues, other professors, they're very responsive about answering emails. And of course, we have an obligation to our students to meet with them in office hours. And by the way, if the professor's office hours says, oh, these are my office hours, Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 2 to 4, if those hours don't work with your schedule, then you just, you see the professor after class, send him an email and say, hey, I have classes or something. Is there another time we can meet? And we are obliged to accommodate you. That's what we're here for. That's our job. And we take it pretty seriously. I take it seriously. We want to help you succeed. We want you to succeed. And but unfortunately, sometimes we can't know that the student is struggling and needs help. So the key is communicate with us, reach out to us, and you will find that people are going to be overwhelmingly receptive and want to help you succeed. And I'll echo also what Ari and Jenny said about using your time. So in my own case, of course, I'm a classical musician, and but when I started college, I would have not been an honors student. I was not terribly studious in high school. I took a gap year between high school and college, which for me was probably the best thing because it really motivated me. I worked at various kind of not so glamorous jobs in that gap year. And when I started college, I really had an appreciation for like, hey, if I don't go to college, and if I don't do well, then maybe I'm going to be working as a busboy the rest of my life or something like that. And that's not what I want. So when I got to college, I was ready to learn. I sat in the front row at all my classes. I loved all my classes and my professors. I think that's what inspired me to become a professor myself. But one thing that I did and that I would urge you to do, and I think I'm probably preaching to the choir here because of these, you are, of course, students who are potential honor students. So you're probably already way more studious than I was in high school. But this was my rule. I would go to classes. I never skipped classes. I figured that's what I'm there to do. I'm there to go to class. So I'd go to classes. I'd sit in the front row. I'd pay attention. I would, after class, I would eat or whatever. And I had a certain amount of free time. I would do my work first, right? Do your work first, whatever it is, your homework, your reading, do that first. And then later, if you have some free time, that's when you hang out with your friends, you have fun, you do more social things. If you put off the work, the homework, the reading, whatever it is, if you do the fun social things first and get kind of distracted with that, first of all, you're not going to really enjoy them as much because some part of your brain is going to be like, I really should be reading. I really should be studying. I should be doing, so you're not even going to really enjoy your fun time because you're going to have this nagging guilt about the work that you should be doing. And then, of course, you might not get around to doing the work. So if you do the work first, and then leave the free time for after, you will enjoy your free time, your social time so much more because you will have a clear conscience. You'll say, look, now I can have fun. I did my work. I know I did my work. I'm ready for tomorrow. I can have some fun. I can hang out. And I think that one insight, because I saw a lot of my classmates did not do that, unfortunately. College is definitely fun. It's maybe the most fun time of your life, but you're there primarily to work, to learn. Learning is work. So take care of the work first, and then leave some time for fun, and you will be good. And reach out, communicate with all your professors, communicate with your students, communicate with your administrators. All of us are here to serve you. I think students sometimes get the idea they get to college, they're in a class with some professor, and they're kind of intimidated by the professor. Remember, the professors work for you, right? We work for you. We are here to serve you. So keep that in mind, and never be afraid to reach out, communicate with your professors, and you will be fine. All right, so it's 8:02, and I think I've already bored some people and caused them to drop out of the chat with my with my rambling on and on, but it's a subject that I'm kind of passionate about. I like to help other students learn from my own experience. But again, it's maybe a little bit wasted on the kind of students who apply to honors, because you guys are already, you're already ahead of the game. The fact that you're even in the running for this, and so we really hope that you'll apply or accept the invitation. I think it's a really great program, and it will really enhance your experience without, I don't think, being too much of an onerous extra burden.
Thank you, Dr. Curtin, and thank you, Ari and Jenny, for being on here tonight as well. If there aren't any final questions, then I think we can give everyone back their evenings. And like Dr. Curtin said, thank you for taking the time. And if you have more questions after tonight, please feel free to reach out to Dr. Curtin or honors or even your admissions counselor. We're all here to help you as you go through this process. So thank you again.
Thanks.
Should I stay until everyone leaves?
I think it's just us now. Hey, thanks, you guys.
Mhm.
Yeah, thank you
Hope I
again.
didn't talk too much. Once you get me started, sometimes it's hard to shut me up.
I have a final lab practical tomorrow. I'm like, I should get studying.
Oh, yeah, yeah. All right, well, we're only 4 minutes over.
All
Mhm.
good.
All right, really appreciate it.